Oh, let me get the music for you. Hello and welcome. Tonight we are going to talk about the reason why you want to consider having a mod or more than one mod, but also ways that you can moderate your live streams without having a person doing it, and most importantly, why this is important to your stream. Let's get started. Hello and welcome. First of all, my apologies. My light for some reason wouldn't connect, so we're going to do this without the usual lighting that we have. So moderation is something that not everybody thinks about when they start doing their live streams, but it is a super important piece of your overall puzzle. There's a lot of reasons why, which we'll get into for a minute, but the point I want to make right off the top is you are setting the tone for your live streams, right? And that is not only about your content and your studio and hopefully your lighting working, but also your audience, right? And who you're attracting, why they're attracted to you, and also how they interact, how they feel when they come to your streams. These are all pieces of the overall experience that you're building for them. Because while most of us are doing our content for some sort of, education or spreading the word kind of reason, it is this overall inviting people to your house, right? That is a part of how they feel about what's going on. And the reality of life is not everybody who comes to the party is necessarily going to be your kind of person, is not necessarily going to be who you wanted to be there. And maybe they just came here and, they're just doing this because they want to cause trouble. That's just the realities. There are people out there that's all they want to do. My apologies. It looks like everything is just going to go wrong at once here. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to get comments from Facebook because Facebook has decided it doesn't want to work tonight. Okay, that's all right. We can work around that. Facebook, I do have you up, so if you are typing comments, it's okay. Just go ahead, and I will get those in a second. So that is a part of your job, right? As running a stream is you are the person who is setting the tone. You are making sure people feel comfortable that they are getting the experience that you want them to have and that frankly they want to have, right? Now, in order to do that, you need to have some control over what's going on. And the nice thing is right off the top, you do have capabilities just as a streamer. So if you're doing this alone, like most of us are, we've got a lot that we're juggling. One more thing that you may need to, that you do need to know how to juggle. You may not have to do it yourself forever, but you need to get familiar with the tools that the platform that you are streaming to gives you to do moderation, right? So depending on the platform, and it does shift a little bit from platform to platform, but you can usually have options of timing somebody out, what we call the ban hammer, right? Kicking them out. That type of thing. Sometimes you can report them to the platform, but usually the first step of dealing with somebody who is not behaving however you want them to be, whatever that is, whether that's a full-on troll or maybe somebody who's just a little too passionate about something, or maybe somebody who keeps wanting to go off topic when you very much want to stay on topic. There's different levels to all this. So you do first. A lot of people just want to try to have the conversation with them. Say, hey, that's fine. I get what you're saying. That's not really what we're focusing on right now. Let's save that for another session and try to bring them back to the conversation. That's not always going to be possible, so that you may need to bump it up to the next level, which is usually the timeout, right? So you've given them the warning, and then the next time they do it, then you're going to maybe give them the timeout. Give them a chance to cool off a little bit. And then, there are people who are just not going to want to do that and who just are not willing to play nice, right? For whatever reason, those are the people that you're going to want to ban hammer. So you're going to want to block them, you're going to kick them from the room, and you don't want them to come back. All the platforms give you, as the streamer, tools to do that. Usually it's some form of clicking on that person's avatar or the message that they did. Sometimes there's a little menu over to the side, 3 dots or lines or whatever it is that the graphic designer decided they wanted for that. And you can click on it and then you can see your different options. So like, for example, now, hey George, how you doing over on Mixer? Good to see you. if you go and you click on somebody's name in on Mixer, you get the option of muting them, deleting them, banning them, timeout. You can whisper to them, which is a private message. Generally, you don't want to get into that when you are the person doing the streaming. That's something that you can have one of your moderators do, which we'll get to in a second. You can, report the abuse to Mixer or to Twitch or to Facebook or whatever platform you're on. And so those are your basic options there. Oh, thank you for the sparks. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things, but you need to know how to do them, how to use them, and you can see, even as I was reading them to you, right, it takes your attention away from the conversation you're having. So that's when you also want to up your game a little bit more and look to see what built-in functionality the platform gives you that will give you some control over things. So just as an example, if you go into like Twitch, we'll just switch platforms for the heck of it, right? I think Mixer does this one too. Again, you have to look at each platform and figure out which ones you're going to want to use, but they usually have some sort of rules that you can specify, right? So you can say that certain words will get blocked, right? Maybe you want to age restrict your audience. Of course, that requires self-reporting, so it's not completely reliable, but it's a tool. A lot of them will also let you specify a certain level or rank of membership activity time on the stream before they can comment. Or maybe that would limit the number of comments they can do over a certain period. Like there's usually different levels inside of that. But these are automations that you can turn on for free. They're all just part of the platform, but it will be different from platform to platform, unfortunately. There's other things like maybe there's a wait period before they can, so if they come and they join your stream, there's a wait period before they can start to comment, or there's a wait period between comments. So it's limiting, either the speed of how often they can comment, or there's a little, let them get to know what the conversation is before they start jumping in kind of thing. The other thing is, if it's a type of platform that offers any kind of memberships or subs, whether that's like a follow type of thing or an actual paid membership kind of thing, you can also usually turn off access to the chat to people who are not members or who are not following. Again, you're going to have to make these decisions on a case-by-case basis, depending on who your audience is, what you want, them to do, how much you want to deal with. It's all little pieces that you can choose from. But like I said, the nice thing is that they're all there. You can also restrict things like whether or not they can link, whether they can post links or whatever. Oh, okay, I see what happened. So it looks like Facebook just totally tanked. Facebook has been having major problems today, so of course you people won't see this now, but if you, I'll post the stream up there after the fact. All right, so those are the kinds of built-in things that you can have just turned on as you like. The other thing you can do is sometimes there are additional tools that you can either plug in, like sort of like extensions, or that are there that you just have to, like opt into as part of your streams. And okay, so everything is blowing up tonight. Okay, that's fine. I had that feeling when you come into your studio and your lights don't work, you kind of know that you're in for a rough night, but that's okay. So the other thing is the third-party tool. So a popular one you're going to hear people mention when you're talking about these kinds of things with your fellow streamers is Chatbot. But that's by no means the only one, but it is a pretty popular one that's available on a lot of platforms. And again, it's just another level of security, right? So the built-in platform ones are like, here. Well, okay, wait, there's you and the banhammer and timeout and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the built-in platform restrictions. Then there's apps that are specially coded to automate a lot of these things, and things like Chatbot, I'm trying to think of the other one, Night Owl, Nighthawk, something like that. There's a bunch of them out there, and depending on the platform, you'll very quickly find out which ones people are using. They have sort of a sliding scale type of protection for you, so you can say that your people can maybe comment right away, but they can only, comment every X number of seconds. Or maybe you're okay with people posting links in your chat, but you're not okay with people doing like emoji and all caps and that type of thing. And the reason for that is because different types of streams very often end up with different types of people that need to be managed. And again, this could be trolls on down. Like, not everything is about just the trolls. Sometimes it's just about keeping the conversation on track in your area there. You can also specify that certain words are or are not allowed. And then you can dial it in. So sometimes, like, you can set the sensitivity of, you know, be very strict with this rule, be a little looser with this rule, and you can do it for each one. And you can go back and, you know, and over time you can dial those in, because what'll happen, not only will it block the things you want blocked, right, but it also will block things that maybe you wouldn't have wanted blocked. And everything that I've mentioned up to this point, right, from you managing it yourself to the platform tools to these third-party tools, they will give you a way to unlock a particular comment, or, you know, maybe the comment has to be approved beforehand. So again, this is still all falling on you as the streamer. But these are very effective ways of controlling the conversation and keeping things on track and keeping the environment pleasant, or at least, you know, social or civil, depending on what level you're going for. On top of all of those is the human mod, right? So a human moderator. Now, ideally, you want somebody who, you know, right? So friends, family, coworker, neighbor, whatever, you know, works for you. You know, a lot of people bring their siblings into it. You know, a friend of mine who does cooking streams has gotten a lot of help from a sibling and her, what should we say? What's the term these days? I don't know, her partner, we'll go with that word. Right? So, you know, that's a good way to go. You will also, as you've been streaming for a while, you'll start to get regulars, right? You'll start to get people who are coming around on a regular basis. And those people, you know, you'll be able to tell which ones maybe are more closely aligned with your goals for your channel. And so maybe you're going to want to reach out to one of them and say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Not everybody's going to want to, because essentially you're asking for free labor. And it's also a responsibility, right? Now, I mean, obviously, you know, you're not demanding that they have to be there every time for every stream, because, you know, hey, you're not paying them and they have lives. But they will. People who agree to do this kind of work usually feel a responsibility to show up and support you and all that. But you will start to get a feeling for who those are. The one caveat I want to warn you about here is that you want to make sure that you don't just randomly assign mod level permissions to anybody who asks for them in your stream, or anybody who comes to your stream, because it is a responsibility. It is something that you want to treat carefully, because they're going to have access to your environment, to your streams, above and beyond just a normal audience member. And they're also representing you. So you want to make sure that there's somebody who's going to, you know, you say, you know, the rule is XYZ, that they're going to do XYZ, not ABC. So be very careful about that. And there's a lot, and one of the troll approaches on the universe is that people will come in, especially to somebody they think is a newbie, a new streamer, and say, hey, it looks like you need some help. Why don't you mod me and I can help you out? You know, because they're looking to get control of your system. Now, again, just like everything else, there are levels of permissions that you can assign to a moderator, but still, you're giving them more control, you know, than an average person, you know, but a little bit less than you, and you don't want to have to mod your mods, is my point. So don't make life more difficult for yourself. Make sure that you take the time to pick the right people to do that. And they are your best line of defense. They are your best supporters of the tone and the overall feeling for your rooms. And you can, you know, they can be more selective, right? So there are things that you might be okay with, you know, a longtime follower doing that maybe you're not okay with somebody new doing, right? Because the longtime follower, okay, maybe, you know, they're just being goofy for the moment and you know they're going to come back on topic, whereas, you know, somebody else is doing it, you don't know that. A human moderator is going to be able to discern those little nuances, and they're going to be able to make a better judgment than any automated tool will ever be able to do of whether and what the implied intention is. They'll be able to pick up patterns in individuals and be able to manage it, and they will then also be able to, you know, back you up on things. So if you maybe are doing it with them, you know, and then you get involved in something and you start talking about things, and then you know, maybe you get distracted, or, you know, you're looking at maybe one platform's comments and, you know, they're watching somebody else's, the other, like if you're multi-streaming, like right now, normally I would be going to Facebook, Mixer, and YouTube, but evidently Facebook is having problems, and it does not look like YouTube is happy at the moment either. So these things happen too. That's the other benefit of a moderator, right? They can tell you whether or not your stream is working well. Like, is it jittery? Like, my mom is like, your lights are off. Yes, my lights aren't working. That's okay. There was just a technical issue tonight. I have to go. I think I just need to reset my router. I haven't done that in a couple weeks. But they're there to support you, that you can count on them to, give people information. So for example, if you have a Discord channel, when new people join the stream, or if new people, follow or subscribe, that you can give them commands to put in, through using something like Stream Elements or whatever. So if they put in, like exclamation and a command, it'll show up in chat, hey, do you want to join our Discord? Here's, where it is, and here's how you sign up. If you're running like a charity stream, they can, trigger the message, to let people know where they can go and donate. You can also automate that kind of stuff in Stream Elements, but the thing is, sometimes people miss the automated message when they come into your stream and they ask the question again, and instead of you having to answer the same questions over and over again, your mods will learn those answers and either type them in for you, or, if you're showing them some love, you can give them some shortcuts to do those kind of things for you. And they can do all the other things we talked about, right? They can time people out. They can whisper to somebody or private message them to let them know, if they've done something that, is maybe not cool, and maybe explain it in a little bit more detail without embarrassing them in front of the whole chat room. They can also, banhammer, they can report people for you, which leaves you able to concentrate on the conversation that you're having, rather than constantly being, okay, oh, I got to deal with this. Oh, even if you don't say the words, your brain is saying them, which is going to interrupt your flow. So that is one of the major benefits of moderators, is they help the room, right? They help you keep your stream with the right tone. They help your audience feel comfortable. They don't have to feel, people very often feel uncomfortable for you when they see trolling going on, or people start to try to pull things off topic, or if infighting starts, right? Let's say, like, okay, so I do a lot of tech stuff, right? And there are very strong feelings in the universe with a lot of people about, Mac versus PC. And, sometimes it turns into holy wars. And I don't want that. That's not the kind of thing I want, because my whole approach is, if the tool works for you, it works for you, and that's great. None of them are magical, right? Regardless of what some people believe from the marketing departments, one particular tool or application is not going to magically make you a superstar, an artist, whatever. But the point is, I don't want people fighting about that. A couple of back and forths is fine, but I don't want it to become the whole focus of the chat. So when I'm going to do a show like that, I usually reach out to my moderators ahead of time going, okay, the topic this week is probably going to generate, a little heat in these areas, and we decide amongst us, what the level is going to be acceptable, and then they're going to take care of keeping it at that acceptable level. Which makes everybody else feel more comfortable, because some people just don't want to watch those arguments. Some people don't want to be a part of those arguments. So, I always look at this as, you folks who are coming to my streams, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be able to get the information that you're looking for. I want you to feel comfortable to, ask questions, make comments, share information yourself, without feeling like you have to deal with the distractions of people who are just like all over the place. Basically, I don't want the drunk person at the party. That's what it really comes down to for me. So that's what we try to avoid. And that is the kind of thing that you can rely on your mods to do for you. So that's it. Normally we would go around and check everybody's comments, but since nobody's working except for Mixer, thank you, Mixer, for being here tonight. And I will go ahead and I will post this up on YouTube and on Facebook for everybody. But I just wanted to get that out there, so I'm just going to recap real fast. Moderation is not just about trolls. It's also about keeping things on topic. It's to avoid infighting. It's to provide additional information without you as a streamer having to keep repeating yourself, because either you're using automations to trigger when somebody says something, or you are restricting who can say what or when, or you've got a human that's in there that can address those things for you, kind of keep everything going in a nice, comfortable flow, allowing you to concentrate on your stream. So moderation is a super important element in your overall stream planning and your structure of the overall streams. It is not something that necessarily you have to have a person right off, but as your channel starts to grow, you are definitely going to benefit from having that. So do keep an eye out, for the people who are regulars in your channel and who are contributing well, because maybe they're going to be willing to mod for you. Understand that there is a certain learning curve when you do bring humans in to moderate for you. You're going to have to, help them through that process. There is also, steps that you have to take as far as giving them access. But generally, once people get in the flow, they'll be okay. And a lot of times people who are willing to moderate are people who have already moderated. So the learning curve is a little easier on that. So start off by learning your tools. Make sure that you know how to control what's going on in your chat by yourself. Make sure you go and you look at whatever platform you're focused on, or platforms, see what settings they give you right off the bat, you know, to set the levels and the tiers of activity that you will and won't allow, and get those set right away. Those two pieces you absolutely want to do right away when you start streaming. As you get more comfortable with your streams and you kind of get into a flow with things, you're probably going to want to then look at some of the automated third-party tools. Again, all of these things will be platform specific. If you want me to cover how to do it per platform, reach out here to yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there, and let me know, you know, hey, could you tell me how to do it on Facebook? Hey, could you tell me how to do it on YouTube? And I'm happy to do that. I'm just being generic now because the rules apply no matter where you're streaming. The specifics of how and where you need to go and make those settings are very much platform specific. But make sure that, you know, when you get the first two tiers taken care of, you get to that third tier, you pick whichever third-party tool you want, you set the settings on it, you keep going back, you know, and fine-tuning it until you get it to the point where it's relying pretty reliably for you and you're not having to override it too much. And then when you get to the point where you're like, okay, you know, these are working, but I need a little bit more fine-tuned, finessed control of things, that's when you're going to want to start to keep an eye out for human moderator or two that you could bring in. Now, like I said, it doesn't mean you can't have one at the beginning, but not everybody has somebody available to do that for them. The other thing I want to make clear, because I know it's a point of confusion for a lot of new streamers or people who've never had mods before, your moderators do not have to be wherever you are when you're streaming, okay? I moderate for a lot of people. I have a couple people who moderate for me. We have never been in the same room together. So moderation is something that can be done remotely. It's just about, you have to go into whatever platform, you have to give that particular user, you know, the right level of permissions, and then they're good to go. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, you can revoke that access too. So don't feel like, oh God, you know, now I made this person a mod and you know, we've had a fight and now, you know, they're not showing up or whatever. You can always revoke that. You have control of your channel. Always keep that in mind. But these are tools and people who can help you make your streams be the very best they can be. All right, so that is what I have for you tonight. I hope that everybody is doing well out there. I will be back here next Thursday as usual, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Mixer, assuming the internet's still working. And I also am going to be on Twitch tonight at like 10:30 and also tomorrow night on Friday. So usually Thursdays and Friday nights I'm over on Twitch and I'm your tech coach there. You are more than welcome to come and hang out. If you're curious about how the different environment works, those are just more casual hangout kind of things. So it's just something else to try if you would like. Thank you so much. We will talk again soon. Go get your moderation in place at whatever level you need it right now. And if you, for any reason, you know, need more information, or if you're looking for somebody to mod for you, or if you're looking for help streaming, right? Maybe you've been doing live streaming, but now you're looking to do more with it. And the doing it alone thing is not working for you. I do remote production. So just go to yourtechcoach.net/one-click live streaming, no spaces. And we can set up a meeting and talk. There's no charge for the meeting. We can get together. We can discuss what you're looking for, what your needs are, see if our schedules mesh up. And if so, I'm more than happy to help out. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye.